What's up, guys? This is yours truly, Empress Chassie Wormington, aka All That Jazz, aka Lupus Slayer. Hope everybody's having a good night. Hope all the fathers had a great Father's Day. Hope everybody had a great Juneteenth 19 weekend, Juneteenth weekend. I'm coming to you guys live, is of course to give you all some information about operations of business, aka business operations, because a lot of people really don't understand what all it details to operate and to run a business. Before you can even create a budget for a business, you have to first know not just what kind of business that you're in, but what it would take to get that business started and to get it operable. So that means you have to make sure you're able to have supplies. You're going to need the material. Hi, Shatima. How are you, gorgeous? We're late. We some night hawks. We don't go to sleep for nothing. But you need to understand the operation of the business quality details. You need to understand geographic what your target is, who's your audience, who you want to target, who would be more interested in the product and or services that you provide. You have to understand the legalities of your business, because oftentimes this I may have constantly seen where a lot of people, especially in small businesses, do not really deal with documentations too aggressively or seriously, or policies and things. And I understand that sometimes, as a small business owner myself, sometimes we have to make some type of compromises, but you never want to make a compromise that could potentially put you out of business, or that could potentially cause you to have a lawsuit. You have to have a liability. That's why my company is LLC Incorporated. It is a limited liability corporation. It makes a difference in the operation of your business, because with me being in the entertainment industry and also having a designing company, things can happen that I would not be able to foresee, and that's beyond my control. So I have to make sure that I am able to cover myself in the event those unforeseen things happen and transpire. Because again, it's like if somebody orders something from me, they order my products and services, and say once I ship it out, in the process of it being shipped, it could get damaged because of the courier being negligent, or the handlers of the package that goes through the different channels of carrier may mishandle the package and cause the contents of that package to get damaged. Well, that's where I have limited liability, because I cannot legally be held liable for that, because it's no longer my fault, my problem. And I know that sounds cruel, but it isn't. You have to take that out with the courier. And you have to understand these different things. Corporate, when you go corporate, you really don't want to do corporate unless you have at least 500 or more employees. Corporate is on another different bracket, but you do need to understand the operations of business. And whenever you decide that you're going to venture out on a particular business, then you really need to understand the legalities of the business. You need to understand the dialogue, the lingo, all of the things, and certain things you learn as you go, because with technology, the way it changes stuff, it advances. How even QuickBook has advanced, how Aurora Excel has advanced. There's different things that have advanced with tools and technology. So some things you're going to learn as you go, but for the basic general portion of it, of your business, you do need a business plan. You need to know what type of business you're in. You need to understand the operations of that business. You need to understand the competitors that you have in that same field of business that you're in. You want to be a competitor because whether you like it or not, you're going to be a competitor, and somebody's going to be competing against you, and you're competing against other people who have the same type or similar type business as you. So these things, you got to consider all of these things before you venture out on business, especially when you publish your business. You're going out in public and you're publishing your business. And I'm not talking about somebody who is just starting out, venturing out, and they just selling stuff or doing things using their gifts, skills, and talents or their knowledge to, make some extra income while they're going through school or while they're in between jobs or where they in between, career decisions. I'm talking about if you have got business cards and you got flyers printed out, you'll build social media pages, but you don't have an EIN, you don't have a Secretary of State registration, you don't have a business license, you don't have a state tax ID number, that's a problem. So, you if you're going to publish yourself out like that, you got to make sure that you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You want to make sure that you copyright. That is so crucial too. Always copyright your business, your ideas, your plans, your concepts. Copyright it. Don't be afraid. Trademark your business name. And yeah, trademark is between $200 to $500 depending on what the level of trademark you need. Like I just need a basic trademark so I don't have to get all the extra extravagant stuff. I'm not doing TV and film right now. I'm still working on that, but I'm trying to get this part taken care of first before I venture out doing to my TV and films, because I do have a TV and films, but you notice I didn't do a website. I don't even have it on my entertainment website because I have not started really being able to apply myself like I need to in that venture. So I don't even really use it or advertise it hardly ever. But people are doing sloppy business, and that can hurt your reputation. It can do two things. Either you can learn, if you're a quick learner, you'll learn quick that you need to tighten in the ropes. But if you're not, then you're going to find yourself in a position where you can also find yourself very vulnerable, because if people know that you're operating your business illegally, they can take advantage of you. Like if you're trying to sell stuff, they don't have to really pay that price for it, because they'll be like, well, you're not legitimate anyway. I can turn you in. I can report you to the state that you're selling this merchandise and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're not even registered. You don't even have an EIN. You're not even registered. So you don't want to find yourself in that kind of situation. So make sure the operation of your business is legitimate. So you want to make sure those things are taken care of. Let me repeat that. You got to have a business plan first and foremost. You need to understand the business that you're pursuing, that you're venturing out in and on as a career. And you said it's your business, it's what you want to do. Then you need to learn as much about that business as possible. You need to understand how much it's going to cost to operate that business, in a general format, or estimate. You need to understand and know who your competitors are. You need to understand the region and the geographics that you're going to be launching your business or trying to attract for your business. And you also need to know how much it's going to cost. When I say the operation, if you're going to need employees, if you're going to need help operating that business, your supplies that you may need. If you're doing stuff like I with the designing, I need crafts. I have to use a lot of arts and crafts stuff, and I use wood. I need screws, I need electric saws and drills, and I need those kind of equipments. And I don't want to get something that's going to break on me every 5 months to 6 months, because when you're using it on a continuous basis, it can wear down. So you want to make sure that you're getting quality stuff so that you don't have to be wasting more money just constantly rebuying things. So you have to understand what you need. And I'm not saying sometimes you got to do what you got to do when you start now, because some people, especially nowadays, a lot of people are now with this pandemic, happening. A lot of people have started venturing out and exploring their gifts and their skills, or even trying, discovering what they can do with their skill sets, and they're selling, and they're doing things to survive. So that's understandable. It's like a hobby, in other words, or something that's not going to be something indefinite and permanent that they probably want to do, but it's just something to help them survive. That's a different story. You're not trying to necessarily operate a business. You're just trying to get by, hustling. But if you're operating a business, if you're saying, this is my business, this is the name of my business, this is what I'm doing, then you need to make sure you have everything in order. So let me just give you all some ideas of what it takes to operate a business. Okay, for me, I use my business as an example, my designing company. When it comes to my designing company, there is a net cost. A net sale. My net sale is the price that I actually charge, outside of the taxes being included, outside of the shipping and handling being included, and then what appears to be my profit really isn't my profit, because I still have to buy more supplies, I still have to buy more material, and sometimes I do need to hire help every now and sometimes. I won't even say now and again. Yes, my son, he'll help me, but I pay him. I don't take advantage of him because he's my child. I'm not going to have him working like that for me, and then I don't pay him, So I do have to pay him. I pay people to do certain things. Especially with me, I don't drive because of some health scares that I've had behind the wheel of the car, and I'm still not comfortable with putting myself behind an automobile and driving it. So I do Uber or Lyft, or friends come pick me up or whatever, and I give them gas money. So you got transportation costs, you have production costs. The production is how much it costs for you to actually produce. That your production cost includes your rent, your lease, the utilities, the ink that you need for your ink, for your printers, for your, how much it costs to run your internet, how much it costs for your devices, because I know for me, I have to put certain things that I design. I draw it out. I like to do a lot of hand sketch, but sometimes I say it's like 50-50. 50% of the time I do hand sketch, or 50% of the time I use my computer. I'm starting to use more, but I have to get the proper software for my furniture, because I want to step out of my comfort zone in designing furniture. I always just stick with small size furnitures, but I want to start getting into medium size type furnitures too, like in medium size entertainment centers, or dressers, and building stuff like that, because that's what I like to do. I like to build furniture. I like to design and build furniture. Also, on top of making other stuff, but so for me, I need to make sure that I'm able to cover those expenses, and then you don't take all of your profit and you spend it all at one time. You got to put money in for rainy days, and to also build up your credit, because when you put money in your savings account, especially whether you have a business account or a personal account, but especially if you have a business account and you keep a certain amount of money in your savings on a regular basis, and then you start increasing that amount, that gives you credit worthiness. I don't know if you guys understand that or not. That's why I like dealing with credit unions versus a bank, because it is a difference. And that's another thing too. You want to make sure that you have a bank account set up that's separate from your business and your personal banking account. You don't want to have them intertwined, and because you can get certain things on your business loan through your business credit. Your business credit may be better than your actual personal credit, so you can use your business credit to get certain things that you may not be able to get on your personal credit. You understand what I mean? It is two separate things. And what often happens is you have to make sure that's why it's important that you have a business account, because what happens if you go sole proprietary, never do a sole proprietary just without it being an LLC or incorporated. Never just do flat out sole proprietor, because let me tell you what will happen when you do just sole proprietor. You go create a business account. It does not matter if you have this business name. If that business name is only under sole proprietor, your personal account will be looked at more so than your business account. Sometimes banks, they try to force you to use your personal account for your business. Like they'll try to run the credit on your personal account, your personal information versus your business information. And you have to sometimes tell them, no, this is a separate entity. My business, yes, it's ran by me, but I have my business ID. This is supposed to be set up under my business ID, not my social security number. And you have to let them know that, because some banks will try you like that, and they'll try to make you feel like that's not true, but it is true. It's a law too. It's actually a federal law. I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna put the link in the description so you all can actually see that when you have a business account and you want to build up credit for your business account, banks cannot use your personal information and personal account for your, to give you credit or to determine whether or not you're credit worthy for something. When you have a separate business account, they have to use your EIN number. They have to use your ID. But this flip side of that is, that's why it's important for you to know the difference between LLC, corporate, nonprofit, organization. You got to know the difference in these type of businesses, and it's right on the IRS.gov site, USA.gov. It breaks it down for you, so you can go on these websites and you can look up the information yourself if you're not sure what category of business you may feel like you should fall under. For me, and I would advise anybody, especially small minority businesses, minority-owned business, LLC is safe. It is safe. It's best to just be in that bracket, and you can get business credit under your LLC, even if it's just, if you're the only owner, there's no co-owner on there, you can still do a LLC and just be completely, have your business completely independent and completely separate from your personal information, your personal accounts. Because what often happens is, another thing with LLC, what it does too, it protects your personal assets. Say for instance, if you had to file bankruptcy or something happened, they will not be able to touch your personal assets to, pay for a business loan that you may owe or something like that. The only way they can do that is if there's proof that you have been gross negligent. Like, you take the business loan, and instead of you using the money for what you're supposed to use it for, you went on a vacation, you went and bought your Maserati and went and lived in Beverly Hills, and you're doing stupid stuff with your money, then yes, they can definitely put a lien on your personal assets for that. That's why even a lot of times with small independent businesses, if you want a business loan and this is outside of going for a grant, they always ask you, do you have any personal asset like land or deed or will? Because they want to make sure that they can, they'll have some kind of collateral just in case you decide you want to go out there and be stupid and misspend the business loan that you have in the money. Because and business grants are always better to do versus business loan. Business grant loans are totally different from just a regular business loan. In a business grant loan, you don't never have to pay it back as long as you keep up with the information and follow their guidelines. Like, don't fall into bankruptcy, don't fall into debt because you're overspending or you under budgeted yourself. They normally, with credit unions, they normally have people there that can help you. Even your domain courier like GoDaddy actually have a whole team of people to help you. They even have a legal team. Did you all know that? For those who create their business and using GoDaddy, using the GoDaddy website, um, don't you know they have an entire legal team, that lawyers that will and attorneys that will answer questions for you, that would help you get proper documentations that you need for your business, for policies in place. I mean, like, they have like all of this right accessible to you. Some of it you have to pay an additional fee for, and some of it is free. But the bottom line is you're getting the information that you need. And a lot of times, your credit union or bank, depending on what bank you're with and how proficient they are, you can get all of that information for free. They'll provide it for you, but they, because they are business advisors as well. So you think about the business aspect of operating a business versus your personal assets. It's totally different. It's not like you just at a bake sale at the school or at the county fair. It's totally different. But what I do, back to how I budget, how my format is, I have my net sale, which is the actual price of what the item is going to sell for. But then I have to remember, I have to add my taxes in. Excuse me, which I rather do that, add the taxes in the price than to post a price. For me, that makes me upset. I don't like to order something and then all of a sudden I go to the next, it'd be like go to checkout, and then when you go to checkout, it's higher than you expected because all these extra fees have been added on. No, I don't like to be caught off guard like that. So for me, I actually include my tax in, and I also include the shipping and handling fees as well into the price. So when you see whatever price is posted, that's the price, period, including the shipping and handling, including the taxes. That's why it shows that the shipping is free, because there's no additional charge for the shipping because it's already been included in the actual price. So when, for people who are not familiar with how businesses work and how businesses operate, that's why you see things priced sometimes the way they're priced. They're not pricing them, not all things anyway. I can't say, but I know for me, mine is priced the way it is because I have to have taxes. I'm not going to eat those taxes up because that's going to take money out of my business. That's going to be unnecessary expense, And then the shipping, that have to be covered as well. And again, I can't do the taxes and the shipping because that's taking money out of my company. So if money is being taken out of my company and I'm not recouping that back, then that's going to put me short. And that's with any company, that'll put them short. And especially when you are a small independent business owner, where there's no mass production. Like, I don't have machines here. I don't have a big warehouse full of people building stuff and building my crafts and doing all of that stuff. And I'm just going to put it to you all this way. I want you all to really think about this. When you go shopping or you go online and you see mass quantities of something, right? You can go to an independent company that may be charging the same or similar price, and then you're wondering, like, well, why they prices the same? It's just independent. It's a small business. They're not massive production like that. Exactly. But this is what you have to understand. When it's a massive production, that means you got 10,000 plus outfits of the same outfits going nationwide and worldwide, selling at that price. You think about that. That you thinking like, oh well, that's really not a lot of money for all of these people. How are they getting paid? They must be making like $10 an hour. Probably so. Even though they don't produce 10,000 outfits, these workers are not getting paid all that well. Most people who work sewing jobs, and this I know because me actually was going to do that before I started my own business. I was going to work doing sewing and making clothes in a factory, and they get paid here in the United States anywhere from $14 up an hour. But that's why a lot of companies, they go overseas. They do India, China, Indonesia. They go in countries like that because their money value is not nearly as good as ours. Like I would say $1 in USA money is like the equivalent of $100 to Indian money. Depending on what part of India. I forgot the actual term for the name of the currency, but that I know for true factually because I've seen it and I exchange. That's something I do. I collect foreign money. I had a pouch full of it and going through life, it got missing and stuff. I lost it, so I had to start my collection back over. But that was something I did. I collect foreign monies from different countries, stuff that I would visit, or family and friends that I had that's of other nationalities, other cultures and stuff. They would bring me money because they knew that I collected it. So that's the big difference. So when you have to also understand the currency as well. So when someone say, "Oh, $1, $1 US, that's a lot to some countries." That's the equivalent of 100 of a $20 bill here for them. Or I would say $50, up to $50 for them. So you have to understand not just the business operation, but you got to understand how finances work as well. You have to understand how you can compete against companies that are able to provide more quantities than you and still charge the same prices you charging for your limited quantities or whatever. But that's why for me, I decided that I want to do mostly one of a kind designs, because I know me personally, I like to have stuff that nobody else has. It's okay sometimes to go, if you go to somebody's home and you see some of the same or similar decorations or home decors and stuff. But one thing I really hate more than anything is to go out to an event and see somebody wearing the same outfit or a close and similar outfit as me. That actually happened before. And the lady, her dress was just in a different color. I was like, man, and I said, see, that's what I get for being lazy, because I actually was going to make my outfit, and I decided, no, I'm not going to make the outfit. I'm just going to let it be. And I should have went ahead and made my outfit, because with me being lazy, not making my outfit, I end up having on the same outfit another female have on. It's like, I'm sorry, you can only be so cute. When you're out and about and you got somebody have on the same outfit as you. Now, it's challenging for men, because I know for me, I like to make the shirts and stuff that I'm making for men is different, but very masculine. And they're going to be most of them are going to be one of a kind too. So it's going to be like, first come, first serve pretty much. So I want to also make that available for males as well, not just for females. So I'm working on that also. But and I actually have stuff copyrighted. That's another thing. Copyright your designs, trademark your name, make that investment. It's worth it. And actually, copyright isn't all that expensive. Copyright is actually pretty cheap. Especially if you do the SE group form. The SE group form is when you can combine 10 or more designs or poems or books or something together in a collection, and then you can copyright it all together for like $45. Copyright really hasn't gone up too much since beginning, because I actually copyrighted my lingerie line. Yeah, I have a lingerie line. I used to model my lingerie all the time and stuff. I used to do that on webcam. It did good. Hey, had to pay the bills. But I did that, and I'm going to start back with my lingerie line as well. So there's a lot of things that I want to get into. But the bottom line is you have to really understand what kind of business you're in, understand the operations of that business, understand your competitors, understand your geographic, what's your target audience, where do you think you would sell, or you could do like a Google search and see what geographic area seems to cater more to whatever design, whatever services or material or whatever it is that you're offering and that you're selling, and that's who you want to target. And by all means, if possible, make your, especially if you could, if you sell online, you have an online boutique and store like me, make it accessible worldwide, and don't be afraid to venture out into other cultures. Don't be afraid to go outside of the box, outside of your comfort zone. For me, it never bothered me to, I've always been a very diverse person, always been multicultural, always been receptive and open-minded like that. Like I never put someone down because they are of a different nationality or race. Like I did reject them or felt that they couldn't teach me anything or show them anything. I mean, I always been very interested in other cultures. Anyway, I always have been fascinated with it. So I was able to use that and incorporate that in what I do. So that's why I like when I design things, I try to see how how this will work in this culture, that culture. Granted, I can't, and I don't try to suit every culture because that would be ludicrous to try to do that. But we do try to make it where it could be something that if it was in Spain, it'll be nice. If it was in Brazil, it'd be nice. If it's in America, it'd be nice. If it's in the Caribbean, if it's in Asian countries, or I just try to be flexible with my designs, and sometimes that a lot of times they become very challenging, and that's why it takes me personally. Sometimes it can take me a few days, other than my health, but sometimes it'll take me a few days, even a week, just to design one piece, depending on what it is that I'm designing. Because I don't try to design things solely that I would like to see in my home only, but what other people would probably want in their home, and how people post their pictures of their homes on the news feed or social media, or they be like, oh, this is what I like, that's what I like, and stuff. And sometimes I get inspired by seeing those. It inspired me to create something similar, or something of that liking. So you want to make sure that you are flexible with whatever services that you offer. Try to be accommodating as well, because that goes a long way. Because when you're accommodating, your business can operate smoother. It can operate much smoother, because you're going to have that financial support, as well as just the moral support. Moral support is wonderful, but it does not pay bills. That's just the reality of it. So you want to make sure that the support that you're able to receive isn't just morally, but also financially as well. That's the reason why you have your business. Otherwise, it's kind of like pointless to even have your own business if you're not going to try to receive monetary support, because it takes money for everything to go around, money to operate your business, money to wash your ass, money to eat, money to do anything. It costs money, transportation. Even if you're using your leg, you got to get something to drink. You got to have shoes on your feet. You got to have clothes on your body. Those things cost money. So everything costs money these days. So that's just no way around it. But I wanted to share that with you all. And if you all have any questions or any comments or anything that you want to add to it that I probably didn't think of, which I'm quite sure there are some points that I didn't touch on, then just post it as a comment below. I can't see the messages for some reason. I don't know. Like I don't know what it is with Facebook, but Facebook do not show me comments. Like when let me see. It's like now I can't even see no comments. I don't see any. I don't. Whatever. But but yeah, just make sure that when you get into business, you don't um become so overzealous and so excited about being an entrepreneur that you forget to use common sense, and that you forget to use wisdom. And by all means, use paperwork, get stuff in writing. With my entertainment company, there's a lot of things I have to have in writing, especially confidentiality agreements, because there may be things that I've discussed with potential business partners or sponsors, or people who would engage in whatever events or gala that we have, and they're not going to be able to share that information with other people. So we do require, that's something I do require, is a confidentiality agreement. It throws a lot of people off because, for one, there's already this biasness with small independent business owners anyway. That we're looked down upon because our brand isn't popular, our brand isn't grand, and they just look at it as some little, you know, teapot person, business owner. So they're like, wow, I can't believe you asking me to do this. We supposed to be cool. Cool is fine, but I need you to sign this paperwork too, because it's going to protect both of us. And that's one thing about my confidentiality agreement. It's not one sided where it just covers me, it covers the other person too. I don't do it. With that, I don't do that one sidedly. And the reason why, especially when it's business partnering and partnership, sponsorship, because it's safer as if somebody sponsor me and they decided they want to do certain things. I don't have to necessarily disclose that information to anybody on the outside other than the government. You have to disclose it to the IRS, because this is funds. So or even if it's services, and they want to write that off on their taxes, the amount that it would have cost if they would actually, for them to provide their service, had I paid for it, they, could get credit for that. So those I would have to share it with the IRS and with the Georgia State Tax Commission office. But as far as just going around bragging or getting on the phone and be like, girl, hey, guess what? Such honey just gave me $5 million. I can't do that, because then that's just like, that's not for me to tell. It's for the sponsors to tell if they want that to be disclosed or not to the public. If they don't want it to be disclosed to the public, then I'm not going to go and do it myself. Because a lot of people be wanting to know how much they give you. I'm not going to tell nobody that. But make sure you have your legal papers in order. And another thing I have applications for vendors, for contestants. I also have a liability disclaimers. Rather, I have disclaimers for events, and that's another thing. For anybody who is having events, and I know that people don't do this because I see it as many. I've been to plenty of events, and rarely do I see the disclaimer, liability disclaimers for those events, whether it's on the website or when you get to the event. You need to have disclaimers. And the reason why, again, we cannot be responsible for other people's actions. We cannot be responsible for how the weather may go. Certain things are going to be unpredictable, even if, say, it calls for thunder or lightning, and people decide they want to come to the events anyway. We can't be responsible if the lightning strike your car or strike your cell phone, and then be like, oh, what is happening to me? So no, it doesn't happen like that. Even if there's events where there's alcohol, we have a disclaimer that me, my company, or nobody else is responsible for anybody who decides to drink alcohol and then get behind an automobile and operate it, and they unfortunately may crash or something. We are not going to be liable for that, because again, We don't know what a person's limit is. Some people can have one beer and they can have them acting like a monkey, in the tree out in the Amazon. So we don't know what a person's body tolerance is for alcohol. So you can't hold yourself liable for somebody who consume more alcohol than their body is able to tolerate. So there's a disclaimer with that. So whenever you have these kind of events and stuff, make sure you have those disclaimers, because I definitely have these disclaimers in for any gala that we may have. Okay, so that's just some things that I want people to consider and think about when you do things, when you go into business. It's more than just being a business owner. It's a lot of responsibility, a lot of accountability that comes with that, a lot of demands that comes with being an entrepreneur. Um, and sometimes people are just caught up in the hype of it, but they're not really understanding what it takes to operate that business. And a lot of people who want to support or that do support, sometimes they don't understand, even if some of them are business owners themselves. Some people are business owners and that's it, but they're not proficient business owners, meaning they don't have legalities in place, they don't have contracts in place, they don't have it. And my biggest pet peeve with some businesses is with these so-called investment financial businesses, where everybody pay a certain amount of money, then you can get paid all this money off. First and foremost, if there's not no legal website and you don't have no kind of legal license with the IRS, with any financial institution to be doing this, because if you go to any loan company, even pawn shops, that there's a registration that they have to have with the IRS and with the state, with their state government, in order to operate that. You can't give out loans or give out investments without it being a legitimate cause. Going to Western Union or going to get MoneyGram is not a legitimate cause. Getting it through Cash App is not legitimate. I'm sorry. I just don't deal with stuff like that, because anything can happen and then you don't know who to turn to. You make some investment, your money get gone, this person stole your money. They can always shut down their social media accounts. You don't know if the person's who they really say they are. People do shady stuff like that. So I never understood why people would give their money. They'll be more willing to give money like that to strangers, because they promising them that they could double and triple their money, but they're complaining about prices on somebody's website for an item and don't want to pay it. But they'll still turn around and give somebody $400 because the person claimed they can make them turn that money to $4,000 plus. I'm gonna tell you, that stuff is illegal. I don't care how much they try to say that it's legal. It is illegal if it's not registered. If it's not federally registered with any kind of with the financial institution. I'm going to go ahead and let me see. I'm going to pull it up right now so I can. U.S. Department of Treasury. They need to be registered with the Department of Treasury. I didn't even have to look it up. I just had thought to think about it. If they're not registered with them, they're not legit. Because investment companies, all of them are federally regulated and registered. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to be giving people that kind of money just because they promise. I don't care how many people they show was able to get that kind of money back and stuff like that. All I'm telling you, it's going to catch up. It never fails. It always end up catching up with people. And then guess what? When they catch up with them, now you sitting up here stuck because their operation has been closed down and you still haven't even gotten your money. And you're not going to get your money. Not even the money you invested. You're going to lose all of it. So, like, I don't deal with shady like that. I'm very uncomfortable with dealing shady like that. One of my best friends, she has a business, and a warehouse. She has a warehouse, like a wholesale warehouse, like a Sam's or a Costco or whatever. She has one in Douglasville, Georgia. I'm not going to go in her business and treating it any kind of way because she isn't a corporation like Sam's or a Costco or JD's. I'm not going to do that. I treat her business better. Because she's my friend, so I'm going to treat her business better, and she has everything in order, and business is business, and we both have that understanding. Business is business. I don't go in there trying to expect to get anything free or half price, and I would tell her, don't you give me nothing half price, charge me full price, for just like I'm any other customer, you know and so, because she's my friend, and one of my best friends, I want to support her business. So, I wouldn't want to take away from her. If anything, I want to add to her. But there's this mentality that is that just circulate, and it's not even a black or white Asian thing. It's just people. So a lot of people mindsets are like that because you're not a major brand, or because you're their friend or whatever. They feel like you're supposed to just give them things and allow them to just do whatever they want. No, you don't. You have to put boundaries, because like I said in a previous video, I don't care if your business is not a major brand. If your brand is not major right now, you treat it like it's a major brand. Don't treat your business like it's mediocre. Don't treat it like it's not proficient, and like it's not Ellie, or like it's not Vogue, or like it's not Tiffany Company. You treat your business upscale. You treat it with dignity. You treat it with respect, because that's going to set the tone of how people will receive your business and perceive your business. You treat your business like it's a gold mine, because it is. That's your baby. That's what you're nurturing. That's what you're birthing. You have given birth to. So just like you wouldn't let nobody just treat your children any kind of way, you don't let people treat your business any kind of way. And we have to demand respect when it comes to that. And a lot of people are not going to like that, because they feel like you're not entitled to tell them that, or to put your foot down because you're not Prada. I don't have to be Prada, baby, to tell you and let you know that you're not going to disrespect me in my business. You don't have to do business with me. You're free not to. That's your choice. It's your prerogative. But what I'm not going to do is allow you to tear my business down. I'm not going to allow you to tear me down. I'm not going to allow you to run over me and just treat me any kind of way, because I'm not a major name brand right now. And I say right now because I am working with somebody. I had mentioned that I think earlier this year and even last year, with a shoe company, designing company, that saw me making sandals and stuff and was very fascinating, and offered me to get a shoe line, possibly getting a shoe line with them. You don't know what somebody's tomorrow is going to be, or their later today is going to be. You don't know who will see their design or see their services or use their services, and that be that ticket, that green light for them. Next thing you know, their brand that you look down on and that you want to dominate, that you want to try to run over, that you want to look at as small and as incompetent, is now a major brand, like Guess, like Gucci, like all of these other companies, major companies. Now you want to be like, oh, now they think they all that. Oh, their prices don't went up now. Well, why you mad? You still mad. So you're gonna have people like that, but you don't let them just deter you from doing what you need to do. You focus on your business goals. You operate and run your business professionally, and you provide quality service and products, to the best of your ability. And you just don't let nobody tear you down and tear your business down. Just don't do it. They don't want to deal with you and support you, fine. The universe will send you 10 people in that place One person go, 10 more people will come. Don't worry about it. They would actually be more than willing and glad to spend your money. You just have to believe that, have faith in that, have confidence in that, and keep going, you know. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to you all about business operations and the things that goes along with operating a business. It's much more involved than what people see on the eye. So that's why when you see a price, somebody's price, you got to understand that price isn't just the price for the item. No, there's shipping and handling involved. There's taxes involved. There's production involved. There's supplies and material involved. There's staff that have to be paid involved. There's buildings, leasing of the building and utilities and stuff is involved. There are utility bills that's involved. All of that is involved with just that one item. So if that item is $40, you imagine all of these expenses coming out that $140. So how much do you really think that person has made out of that $40? So that's all I'm saying. Just don't be so quick to shut people down and look down on people's businesses, or to try to find fault and criticize people's businesses, and especially the cost of whatever services they may offer, or whatever items they may be selling, because it does cost to produce those things, especially when you're doing it as a small independent business. It actually costs small independent businesses more than corporate companies, because they can write so much stuff off on their taxes. They can get so many different tax breaks and tax credits that a small independent business, LLC business, cannot get. There are some breaks that we can get, but we don't get nearly the breaks that these corporate companies does. We already have seen that. We see how they bailed out these multi-million-dollar companies, but major companies, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, but small businesses all over the nation, hurting and getting ready to close down. So, yeah, just that's all I want to say. So I thank you all for listening. God bless, one love, peace, and you guys have a great night. And leave any comments below, concerns, questions, or advice, or anything that you may have. Okay, thanks.